Okay, guys, I'm doing another soulmate reading. I just left a presentation by an Ecuadorian shaman, and it was, I don't know if I just got invigorated or inspired or what, but I do feel like there are a lot of people right now, particularly on the tail end of the retrograde season, that'll be wrapping up in a little bit. And with the eclipse season and all of that, her just kind of been really like wrung out. That's like the sensation that I'm getting, that people feel like they've just been emotionally like wrung out like a washcloth. Um, I know I have. I know other people have. Even if they're like with their partner, it's just it's just a lot right now. So when I say separation, I mean, you could be separated by distance or circumstance or both, or, you guys might just have come to an impasse, even if you're together, and you need a little guidance as to, like, problem solve, troubleshoot, conflict resolution. I mean, I'll just tell you right now, I mean, and I know people hate this, but we have to think about time differently, don't we? Because the cosmos doesn't work on the same time scale set of measurements that we do. I was just talking about my mom, talking to my mom about this yesterday. We were talking about how my mom's a minister, and she and I were talking about how, in churches, like one of the mantras you hear, I've been hearing since childhood, I grew up in the church, is that, like Christ is coming back like this year, or he's coming back tomorrow or next year. There's always like this kind of like deadline. And we were just kind of chuckling together because, like, it's like, well, the cosmos doesn't work like that. The divine doesn't work like that. Like, time moves very differently. So, whatever your belief system is, you have to know that, like, the way that human beings measure time, and particularly Westerners, um, it's a social construct. And so our timeline is a little bit different than the way the rest of the universe works. Like, things happen. When they say divine timing, it's kind of like, it's kind of annoying to hear over and over and over and over and over again, because it's like, what does that even mean? I did hear one reader describe it as a conductor, leading an orchestra, and when it's your turn to play and the conductor points to you, then it's your turn to play. And I was like, that's actually a really good visual image. It still doesn't like help when you're sitting at home and you're like wondering, like, are they thinking about me? Like, they're not posting anything. I haven't gotten a text. I haven't had a phone call all day. And it's like, it's frustrating. And I think, given the type of emotions in particular that have been coming up recently, um, the past 6 weeks or so, I would say that, people are pretty much at their wits' end. And I think a lot of people are ready to walk. So, um, you know, again, I just have to say, you're right where you need to be. I also think that a lot of readers do soulmate readings, and they're not like in a partnership, so they don't really understand necessarily, like, kind of the depths of despair that, being in a soulmate partnership can trigger. Either they're just, they haven't met their soulmate yet, or they just kind of have this esoteric abstract idea, or, and so it's not, I'm not trying to deny their experience, but I sometimes think that people do the partnership readings, and particularly soulmate or twin flame readings, and don't have a personal investment in it. They don't have any skin in the game, or they've cut off their partnership, their soul contract with someone, and walked away from it. And so what that does is it prevents a kind of empathy and compassion during these readings, And the thing about tarot readings, and if you watch a lot of these, then you'll know, or you'll notice that the messages sort of come out with the personality of the reader. So, if that person has not really been in a relationship in a while or ever, they kind of like get on their high horse and start telling you what you should do with your life and choices you need to make. And it's like, well, that's easy for you to say, motherfucker. You ain't even in a relationship. How would you know? Like you don't know me, so it's like there are these readers who are kind of like doom and gloom, like everything's a breakup, everybody's cheating, you can only read the Three of Swords this way and Seven of Swords this way, and I just find that a bit limiting. And then you have the readers who are all like, oh my god, like, oh, it's so beautiful, oh, look at all the rainbows descending from the clouds, and everybody's holding hands and sharing candy, and it's like awesome, like you are in such a good mood. And so I watch those readers when I'm having a bad day, and I'm like, you're right, it is awesome, we're gonna figure it out, so you can kind of like, if you're looking, whatever you're looking for, you're gonna find it. There's so many readers out there right now, and I've been watching readers in earnest on YouTube for about 3 years, just kind of like interested in the personalities. And so what you're dealing with is, the tarot, the cards have a vocabulary. It's a language, right? They're just cards. And so I'm a writer, so I'm a poet, so I think a lot about these kinds of things and how we tell narratives to one another and how we tell stories to one another. So we can all pretty much agree that, certain ones of the cards, represent fire and air, and, the other elements in different directions, and in certain combinations, certain cards mean this. But what's up for interpretation during these readings, particularly the general readings, is the person who's serving as the conduit. So, I'm not going to name any names, but there are several readers out there that I just can't vibe with, because it's like, even when they're giving a good news reading, it sounds like terrible news. You're like, I don't really feel good about that at all. Like, was that good news? I don't know. Why do I feel like I have bruises? And there are certain readers who put a positive spin on things that may not necessarily need a positive spin on it. Like, you might need to look at this like without the rose-colored lenses, like, and look at this for reality. So I don't know. My readings come out kind of like pep talks, like, okay, you're kind of in a funk, but like, okay, here's what we're gonna do to help you, like, here's a rope ladder or something. I was listening to a reader last night, and again, it's like storytelling. I like hearing how people put the stories together. And at one point, I told this woman to stop yelling at me. I said, will you stop? I get it. Will you stop yelling at me? She had this really thick Eastern European accent. And she was like, you need to do this. You need to do this. Okay, just do this. And I was like, damn, like, you don't even know me. Stop yelling at me. So yeah, I think that the soulmate readings can be told with more compassion, but also tough love. I'll tell you, some of my favorite readers for that are Virgos, and probably because I'm a Virgo. Either they have a Virgo moon, or their Virgo sun. My favorite all-time reader is Gregory Scott. He was the first guy I ever got a reading from, who I found on YouTube. Gregory Scott is like, you gotta wait 3 months. Used to be only to wait a few weeks. Now you gotta wait 3 months if you want a reading from Mr. Scott. Worth it. I got a 15-minute reading from him because that's all I could afford at the moment. I've also bought his tarot course, he's just so good. He's like the Mr. Rogers of tarot, I think. But anyway, I mean, he's realistic, he's grounded, obviously, but he gives you like that rope ladder. He's like, okay, but here's how you can think about it, because he treats these readings like they're not set in stone. And I think too many people think about these readings like they're set in stone, like you have no free will, okay? Choices depend on the people making them. And, energies can change, circumstances can change, other people involved can change their minds. There's just so much at play. Like, what you're getting when you get a reading is an energetic snapshot, okay? But yeah, he gave me a reading the other day, and I only go to Gregory Scott like when I order readings, I go to him like if it's like a life decision. You know, like okay, I really want to move. Is this a good look? You know, I don't need a lot of guidance. That's why I pretty much only get the 15-minute readings. You know, it's just like just tell me what you need to tell me, and I just need a nudge in the right direction or validation. You know that I'm on the right track. Um, and he always delivers. So I've gotten like 4 readings from him maybe in the last 3 years, and these past 3 years have been some of the most tumultuous of my life. And he hasn't let me down yet. Potential partners, you know, school stuff, work stuff, inspiration, like creative stuff. Like he's just the real deal. You know, he's been studying divination for a very, very long time, and um, I highly recommend getting a reading from him if you can wait for 3 months. You can do a reading with him that's like in 2 days. You just gotta, you know, pony up. Um, so that's what I mean. Someone who doesn't necessarily sugarcoat things, but someone who is happy to tell you good news. Like the reading that he did for me the other day was a video recording, and he when he gets happy, he claps his hands. It's so cute. He's like, "Yay!" And I'm like, "I love you, Gregory." You know. So yeah. So all that to say, you know, if you're looking to have somebody validate your negativity, there are readers who will accommodate. You know, if you're looking for someone who will, you know, pump you up to the point where you know your head is a hot air balloon and you can't see reality, there are readers who will accommodate. Um, but an extreme in either way is you know not really gonna steer you right. So that said, I do think that a lot of these soulmate readers could use some more compassion. So I'll just tell you. I mean, right now, I mean, I've had several soulmates. Some have been platonic. One is my sister, my little sister. Um, One is my ex-husband. I've had 2 former lovers be soulmates, and I've had 3 besties who have been soulmates. 4. 3 out of 4 of those are I'm no longer friends with. By choice, because you know we were triggering one another to the point where nobody was getting anything done. I mean, it was just you could just the codependency things and friendships like that can really, in soulmate partnerships, you can kind of feel that codependent vibe show up, you know. And that's a soul contract, like kind of tugging at both of you all. But the problem is if you both have been through damage, and being around one another can really trigger that anxiety. Some people it's PTSD from, you know, people who raised them or bad experiences growing up, and that doesn't help anybody heal when you kind of keep reinforcing those triggers. So the best thing to do is if you love them, let them go. You know, it wasn't very easy, obviously, but that's why you have multiple soulmates, to help. You know, you guys got to help each other heal, and sometimes, you know, the best way to do that is to walk away. Right now, I have a soulmate connection with someone. We are living at a distance. I'm really not sure what's going to happen. It's been amazing this past year, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but right now I think we're both kind of at a crossroads in life. And on my end, it's just sort of like holding pattern while he figures his life stuff out, you know, and yeah. So it's not comfortable waiting while someone else, you know, goes and finds their own answers, and you know, at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do. You know, I mean, it's his decision at this point. My decision is to kind of just live life and love him the best way I know how, which is to not push, to not press, and just be of service, you know, where I can, which is as a writer and as a teacher, and you know, I'm an educator, so is to go about life and keep doing what I'm doing, and not spend too much time by myself drinking wine at night. Because who wants that, you know? And just be grateful that I had the connection at all. Um, so, um, yeah, connecting with him this year has really leveled me up energetically, and he raises my vibrations, and it's like, wow, like that was, whew, flying high, man. But it also brought up some old challenges that I didn't know were still kind of like, oh, you got to get the cobwebs out, you know. Like you cleaned everything, but you know, there's still like some grime in the corner somewhere, you know. And again, you know, getting to know him again this year has brought up some stuff that I thought that I'd excavated, that I'd purged in my dark nights of the soul consecutive years. If this one feels like the final exam though, so and I'm ready to be done with that part of my life, and so um, it's been really real this year, guys. This has been really real. So that's how I know people out there are hurting and they're looking for answers, you know. So when you hear my readings about a soulmate partnership, I'm in it with you. I'm in the trenches with you, and I understand the lure, and I understand the desire to contact, and press, but resisting that impulse, and turning that sort of inward, and that is part of the initiation too. So, my role, I think, if I'm going to be doing these soulmates and separation readings, again, because I feel your pain at a soul level, cellular level, you know, I want to help. And I feel better when I'm talking to other people out there somewhere who might be going through something similar, and it's like, you get caught in that sort of, well, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know how up you are in your Greek mythology, but I'm thinking of Scylla and Charybdis in the Odyssey. I've been thinking about the Odyssey quite a lot lately. The the work, the epic work featuring Odysseus and his travels in the oceans. And Scylla and Charybdis were like a rock in a whirlpool, and ships would get lost at sea, and you know, you could, if you go right, it was like you go right, I can't remember if you would go down into the whirlpool, and if you went left, you'd run into the rocks. So that's kind of like what it feels like right now, towards the tail end of 2017. It's like, wow, we were like sailing really well for a while, and now it's like, oh God, like how do I want to die? But you can't be reborn if you don't die, right? And people who talk about past lives, you know, you can have multiple lives in this life. I was talking to a friend of mine, and a picture showed up on Facebook from 2 years ago, and I was like, look at that. He was like, 2 years ago. It's like, it feels like 5 years. It's like, how is it in 2 years we're all living completely different lives than we were 2 years ago? You know? He's like, I know. So, I mean, technically, you know, we're regenerating. Our bodies are regenerating all the time. You know, every several years we have completely new blood, new skin, new spines, new hair. You know, we get upgrades, and energetically it's the same way. So it's a bit like, okay, well, how, you know, what are you taking with you? What do you still need? Do you need any of it? So I'm rambling now, but so this upgrade, this all the updates that we're getting, a lot of us are buffering right now, and it could just be like, well, you know, it says it has 19 minutes left, so you might as well go make a sandwich. You know, and I'm one of those people who, like, it's like, if you're obsessive right now, like if you're in like that place, that whirlpool, you know, I stumbled upon automatic writing last year in my phone, and you know, it's like you can only talk about it so much to your friends or your family members or your therapist or whoever, or that person, the object of your obsession. So what I did last year was I started writing in my phone, about, this was not about him, this was about someone else who actually helped me clear out a lot of stuff before I even ran into the current situation. Thankfully, because it could have been a lot uglier this year. And when I was going through all that, I just started writing on my phone, like at nighttime. And what I noticed that there were certain behaviors or patterns that would trigger me, that this other guy would do, and it would kind of send me in this like tailspin, and I would just sit on my phone and write it out. I mean, I'm a writer, but I just didn't care what it looked like. I did not care how it came out. And by the end of the summer, it was a really rough summer last summer. I had like 200 pages of single spaced, like pages, not like in notes, but like I was like, wow, I had a lot to get out of my system, but better out than in, right? And there were times too, I got kind of set off again in November of last year, almost a year ago. See, a lot can happen in a year. And I excused that person from my life, but in that kind of purging of all, it was like this burning off all like the residue and like the all the feels, I started just recording like I am right now, and like talking to, while I was driving, I'd just be talking like I was talking to a friend, and then later listen back like, wow, I didn't even know I thought that. So there are techniques, there are ways you could kind of like, go through that process and not feel like you're going crazy, especially if like you're like more prone to OCD and repetitive behaviors. So am I still rambling? Yes, 20 minutes later. I think I'm supposed to be doing a spread here. All that to say, I really like hope that you guys are doing okay. And I'm not gonna do the whole divine masculine and feminine thing, because like there are days, like I'm a woman, but there are days I know I'm the divine masculine. Like my assertive streak is like boom, like, and then there are days that I definitely feel like I'm the feminine. So it just kind of depends. So I'm just gonna do like the left side will be the soulmate and the right side will be you. Okay. So I just kind of devised this spread the other day. For some reason, I really like doing these, not listening to or following any other spread. They might be informed by spreads that I've seen, but what I look at is all my own. And I like doing it in fours. There's something that feels really complete to me about a four. It feels like a square or like a box. So we're just gonna roll with it. You guys, don't let me preach too long. I don't know. It's like, this is I teach college. It is like, this is kind of like my method for teaching college. I just throw a bunch of spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. Your cards are, okay, I was going to say your cards are being very stubborn. Okay. My table does not want to accommodate. It's a very small table. It's very wee. Alright. Ask and you shall receive. I feel like I want a cosmic message, a divine message. Here we go. Alright. And I don't know where I'm going to put that. I'll put it right there. Okay. Bottom of the deck. 8 of Wands. Ooh la la. 8 of Wands. You're seeing me use the Rider-Waite for this one, but I like the Morgan Greer deck a lot too. I kind of like those two decks. They're just, they're a little austere, but it's like you can't mix up the interpretation. You know what I mean? And again, with my own situation, like my decks they got jokes, right? The other one that I like to use is the Line Strider Tarot. Even though the cards are really thin, I kind of like that because they shuffle easier. But the other day, like I was walking by, or I had just painted this table that you guys are seeing right here. Like that's how I meditate. I like do like a lot of repetitive paintings. It's another way to like kind of people are like, yeah, you just need to focus on your breath and da 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 da. sit in a room by yourself on a pillow, focus on your breathing. I just I paint or draw, and so repetitive like hash marks, you'll see the table like that. That doesn't really take any real skill. Or sometimes I do like, dots. Uh, but that's my meditation, and my breath regulates and my anxiety leaves, and that's how I can do that for hours. And to me, that feels more natural than like forcing my body into a pose where I'm going to be thinking about, you know, straining a muscle. Long story short, though, that I had just pulled my Line Strider tarot deck out on top of the newly vamped table, and the Six of Cups just fell over from the top. It was like, and I had been at a bit of a crisis point a couple weeks ago, personally, starting a new gig and moved to a new town, and this beautiful man in my life who I have no idea what to do with. And it was like Six of Cups, and that's our card. I mean, he knows about the Six of Cups. I've told him about its significance to me. So I posted it on Instagram, like a little like message in a bottle, because I mean he'd probably see it. Like, look what just fell out over the top of the deck, And then yesterday or 2 days ago, I was passing by my Morgan Greer deck, and like the Eight of Wands was just sitting upright. Like the cats might have like bumped into the deck or something walking around. It was just like up. I was like, really? So if you watch enough of these, you kind of understand the vocabulary of the tarot. You know that the Eight of Wands means rapid movement. It is fire energy, fast communication. The Rider-Waite deck calls these the arrows of love. So to see them in a partnership reading is a good sign. I'm not going to look underneath those cards, even though I'm tempted to, because that's what I like to do in the other readings, is kind of like get some context. But, for those of you who are waiting on, if you're like me, if you're sensitive and you're intuitive, you can feel like, okay, there's a conversation coming. And again, this could be like, it can be in dreams, it can be in the dream state where you guys maybe just might be hashing it out in dreams. It could be in real life, on the phone, over email, over text, Snapchat, whatever you guys do. It could be like you sitting in the room with them and saying, look, we got to talk, because we've been passing each other in the hallway for like 2 days now, 2 weeks now, 2 months now. Can we talk, please? So, like I said, with like the solar eclipse booting everybody's like energy into high gear, and the lunar eclipse, helping to bring some other things to light. Full moon, I believe in, I want to say, is it Pisces? I don't know, something's coming up. The full moon is going to be real special in terms of those ooey gooey feelings that we all like. So that's next week. So long story short, like this communication that you've been waiting on, there has to be some sort of communication. And the outcome card flipped over right away, and since you guys are just going to see the image, it was the Nine of Wands in reverse, which is telling me, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but it's okay, because here's where we're going to start, and we're going to end up with the Nine of Wands in reverse. So the Nine of Wands in reverse, when I see that guy, typically I think it's like, okay, well, he does not feel satisfied with his work, because I feel like the King of Wands made him go do that, or an overseer made him go plant somebody else's wands, because he's all beat up and his face is disgusted, and he's just like, whatever. They're planted, they're here, fine. I know I did it. It took a really long time, but it's done, and their passion is just really, he's just really worn out. In reverse, it always feels like this is someone else. He's done this for someone else. For upright, it's like, well, I did it for me, and it was worth the trouble, In reverse, it always looks like, well, I did it for somebody else, and it's not worth the trouble. But the way, now that I'm seeing the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck and the Nine of Wands in reverse, the meaning has shifted for me just a little bit, and we'll see how the rest of the reading unfolds. But it's looking to me like it's not complete yet. This conversation that's going to happen is going to be an ongoing conversation for a little bit, and it could be, September's the 9th month. It could be a conversation that was started in August with the 8 and kind of continues through September, and it might not be finished even in September. But the focus The heart of the messages will be organized. They'll come through clearly this time, because I know a lot of us have been looking for clarity. Like, where do we stand? Where do I stand? You know, that kind of thing. What role do we want to play in one another's lives? Because again, the masculine and the feminine can like shift. So somebody who is feeling like, now if you're like me, you know, you felt more assertive in the past and like declarative and like, yeah, this is it. And now it's like, well, I'm gonna let them like lead the way, you know, and it becomes more receptive energy, right? So, and I'm noticing that the soulmate side on the left, you know, the arrows, the way they're sitting on the table are pointing towards your side on the right. So it could be for a lot of you that your soulmate initiates that conversation to you. But just be aware that this is not necessarily anything that's going to be definitive. I'm feeling like people need to be in a receptive state, like ready to catch the ball. Like they might say something and it's like tossing. I'm getting the image of like somebody tossing a football. I learned how to like throw a football last summer, and I haven't touched a pigskin since. But it's like somebody. And there's a certain way you have to catch it. You know, it's like they toss you the ball and in the backyard, and you got to catch it, and then you got to decide with this Nine of Wands in reverse, do I want to run with it or not? Okay, because you don't really know what direction you're going to be running towards, is what I'm feeling, or running in once you catch this ball. You can't know until you catch it. So just be kind of like in a receptive state, like an interrogative state when these messages come through, is what I'm getting. Okay, so the first card on the left is how your soulmate sees you. They see the Page of Cups in reverse, and that is someone who has, well, they've retracted a love offer. And so if you're being silent, or you're not saying anything, or you're not being kind of like your lovey-dovey assertive self, they might take that to mean that you have rescinded the offer, or you're not interested anymore with the Page of Cups in reverse, that you have lost interest with this new spark that you exhibited such enthusiasm for, and put such emotion and devotion into nurturing to life through thick and thin on those wavy waters, you know. So that's how they are currently seeing you, as someone who has taken this cup of new love and just like a cat knocked it right off of the counter. Okay. How they see the partnership is the next card, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So they are currently seeing the partnership as again, a gift that has been squandered. Now, with the Ace cards, they are gifts from the cosmos. When that little hand comes out of the cloud, that's a gift being given to you from the divine, and you don't have to take it. They could see it as a waste of time that they invested in. They could see it as something that they don't necessarily want to waste their time in anymore, or something that maybe their investment did not yield the return that they were looking for, especially if you're seeing the Page of Cups, if they're seeing you as the Page of Cups right now in reverse. So that communication this week could be, well, it could be a last-ditch effort to save or salvage what they thought that they've lost. Because remember, the Ace of Pentacles, that's how they see the partnership right now. That might not necessarily be the case, but if there's not really been any communication, then they would know that you might still be interested. You might not still be interested. We're going to find out. But the communication could be about that. Like, okay, so like, did I lose you? Like, or did I lose you along the way somewhere? Like, what do we need to clear up so we can keep this moving? Okay, that could be the communication for some of you all if they initiate it. All right, what do they want from you? The Star in reverse. Interesting. I might have to pull some clarifiers on these guys. Let me just listen. Okay, so what I'm getting for the Star in reverse, and I'm getting some like new reads on these cards that I've never gotten before. So what I'm getting is that, well, you see the Star, here is by herself, and she's creating the world that she wants to live in by herself. She's getting her information directly from source, and she doesn't need anybody's help. She's naked, she's exposed, she's vulnerable, and she's sort of just wandering around at nighttime with her chakras all aligned and, having a merry old time pouring water. That's her own form of alchemy. But she's alone, and what they want from you is for you to. And what I'm noticing here is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse looks a lot like that star. So what they want is they want you to admit that you want a partnership, that you don't want to do it by yourself. It's the first time I've ever read that card that way. That you're part of their world, like the Little Mermaid. What does Ariel say? She a part of your world, like that's that kind of thing. That's what she wants. She wants to be part of the world. So that's kind of the feeling that's coming through, is like they want you to admit that you need them as much as they need you. Or to invite them into your environment. Because when I see the star card, it's all about the environment, right? And it's like they want you to extend the invitation to include them, to be inclusive, to admit that your world is not complete until they're in it. Some of y'all must be with some Leos. Oh my God. I poke fun at Leos a lot because I'm surrounded by them. So if you guys hear me like picking with Leos, my dad's a Leo, my North Node's in Leo. I have a Leo constellation tattooed on my arm. So it's like I have fun with Leos a lot. Leos are probably my lightweight favorite sign. Next to Virgos, of course, darling. But I poke fun. I poke fun with my Leos quite often. Not my Leo women. We're good. Usually this Leo men, but yeah. So there seems to be a bit of hubris involved here. Like it's like they want you to say you complete me. That's what they want from you. And they might want to say to you, you complete me. They might want that to be reciprocal, I'm feeling for like a lot of you guys that they want you to say it first. And I know a lot of you all have already expressed it. But maybe if you have this communication, like don't be shy. This is not the time to balk, because I do think for some of you all, the relationship as it proceeds together or apart does depend on this conversation. If they ask you point blank, what are you trying to do? If this is your person, if you want this to be your person, and you say, well, I'm trying to do this. Like, I want to be with you. Okay. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth that I want to be with you? And they say yes. Do you know what that means? Yes, that I want to have a life with you, or I want to try. Let's make a run for it. And they say yes. Do you understand that? Then good, we're clear. Okay. And if they're still unclear, what does that mean? I want to make it Facebook official that we're together. That's how you know it's really real, is when you make it Facebook official. And then then their eyes will want to be like, oh, okay, It's like they want to make it Facebook official, but they want to make sure you want to make it Facebook official too before they say they want to make it Facebook official, is what I'm getting. And so that's what I was like, maybe you guys are talking to Leos, because Leos are they're such softies deep down, and they love to love, and they love so hard. It's like, let me make sure before I commit all the things, that this person is trying to love me back equally as hard, but I mean, we're all capable of that, but that it feels very much like, it feels a little middle school, I have to say. It feels a little bit like sending the notes in class, like, do you like me? Do you want to go together? Like, that's what it feels like a little bit. All right, so what are they doing about getting this? Well, they're doing the Knight of Swords. So I think a lot of you all can expect a phone call this week. The funny thing is the Knight of Swords is running off in the other direction. You know, going off half cocked. It's like they've jumped to some conclusions, I think, based on the lack of communication, and they've told themselves like certain stories, and like they're just running in like the wrong direction because everybody else on on these cards so far are facing to the right. They're running off half cocked to the left. Like, it's like, wow, you really just took that story and ran with it, didn't you? Like, that is not the case. So you guys might actually have to be clearing up a misunderstanding. Like, that's not what I thought at all. Oh my God, you know? And then you guys can like laugh about it and like have great makeup sex later, you know? But that's why I was saying you really need to be open and receptive, you know, to hearing them out, I think, because I think they've got it a bit wrong. I think there's been some wires crossed with the recent energy. All right, let's look at what's going on in your side. And what I'm also noticing, there's a lot of blue background, so it's speech. Something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it might be very quickly that you hear from them. Okay. Charge. All right, so how are you currently seeing them? Wheel of Fortune. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, they have no idea, like they don't know that this is how you see them. Like, they bring you luck. They're like your good luck charm. Your life feels like it's falling into place when you're with them, when you guys are at your high vibration. This is lucky. Right place, right time. Like, synchronicity. Like, oh my God. Like actually today I was thinking, I actually met this guy when I was in 8th grade. And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, so he was the first actually person who imprinted on me, you know, in terms of like, you know, 8th grade, like love life, like, wow, like he was like my first person, you know? And think about how the cosmos would have had to like be arranged around that synchronous of a meeting for that to even happen. The events that led me to that city, back to my hometown, and like all the things that would have had to lead up to that moment of me first meeting him as a kid, you know, like, and that's the kind of like synchronicity I'm talking about. That's divine timing at work. If you look back and you don't just look at like your life or you guys' connection, but you look at their life too, and how it's like, wow, you were doing that year? Oh my God, I was doing like something very similar, but like way over here, you know? And you just start to see like your lives sort of echo one another's. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is. So you see this person as like a godsend, like Deus ex machina, you know? They make you feel like you're on top of the world, like Lady Luck has finally smiled upon you, like fortune has finally come your way. You feel lucky that you even met them. Like, this is like a connection like this could even exist. Okay, how you see the partnership? They have no idea. Why do they think it's over? That's my thing. Why do they think it's over right now? You guys have the Lovers. So 2 major arcana here. You guys see the divine partnership. You see the connection here. It's divinely guided. Like, you guys are in this together for life. And then next one, you know, that's really remarkable. So the communication must have gone really super duper awry, you guys. This might very well be a very long conversation. But I do think it'll be okay once you clear it up. But I do think that they, you know, if you needed clarity, I do think they need to take the initiative and start that conversation. Because they're seeing this new beginning as like a dud. And you're seeing it as like, oh, like this, the clouds have parted and the heavens have opened and the partnership is blessed and preordained. And they're like, oh man, that sucks. They don't even love me. I don't think that some of them might not understand for some of you all how deep this really goes for you. You might have been a little terrified to tell them about like twin flame partnerships or divine partnerships or soul contracts, which is, nobody wants to feel like they are, they don't have any free will. So if you haven't told them, like, it's probably a good idea. But they may not know how, like, really, 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 really into them, like, you really are. Like, you would go to the ends of the earth for them. It's like they don't really know that. Like, you have a choice about how you feel about them. Okay, what you want with them is the devil. Oh, okay, so we have 3 major arcana here, you guys. So remember when I was talking as 3 major arcana in a row, which means that this is a destiny point. And the star in reverse is right across from the devil in reverse. So remember how I said on their side, the star in reverse, they want you to admit that you can't do this by yourself, that you need your counterpart, that you need them. Well, the devil here is, you kind of want the same thing. It's like, if we gonna burn together, shit, And I don't think I've ever pulled the Lovers and the Devil card like right on top of each other before. So this is kind of crazy because they're in the same position. So you have the Angel with the Lovers. That's how you see the partnership. But what you want with them is like a bit of bondage, it looks like. That obsessive thing, it's like, it's a bit sinister in a way, because it's like, oh, you don't think this is real? I'm gonna show you how real. I'm gonna prove to you. And so that's what you want from them, is you kind of want that same level of obsessive commitment. You want them to be chained to you. You probably also want to like have a lot of sex with them too. I mean, I'm just saying, the Lovers and the devil, like, everybody's naked pretty much here, except the angel and the devil. Like, I mean, I guess the devil's kind of like, he's a little naked. His goat parts are covered up. But but the people, the humans in the cards are naked and exposed. So it's like, what you want is to, like, let's get down to business. You're here, I'm here. You're naked, I'm naked. Like, what's up? I feel like, and that could be, again, part of the obsessive draw, especially if you all have already established a soul tie and have been intimate with one another. You're feeling that real good right about now, because sex resolves everything, doesn't it? Makes it worse. So if you are in separation right now and your body parts are not touching, that's a good thing, because sometimes, while a lot can be expressed through the soul tie, physically, at the spiritual level and at the intellectual level, that's how things get lost in the crossfire. People, focus too much, like, on the sex part, and it's like, can we just go back to having sex? Like, that was great. But for some people, their, like, feelings are, like, really wrapped into this, and they kind of want this romantic notion of the star, which is the wish card. So it's like they're a bit in the clouds. Their heads are in the clouds right now, and ours are in the basement. In the gutter. So you're in the gutter right now. It's like what you want with them is the same. You want evidence of the same sort of passion and commitment that you feel, and you haven't seen that yet. So what are you doing about this? The Knight of Pentacles. So you're extending an offer, stable offer. And this might be the kind of person, now look, this is why we have the Nine of Wands in reverse here, because this is going to be an ongoing conversation. The Knight of Swords is going off to the left, half cocked, in an opposite direction. So it looks like there is a little bit more separation on the horizon here. I don't want you guys to freak out, because they're equals now. Does that make sense? They're both upright and they're both equal. So it's like, okay, well, even if we have to be apart, the Knight of Swords is a fast-moving energy. He'll go around the block 15 times by the time the Knight of Pentacles takes one step, okay? The Knight of Pentacles, though, is consistent. He'll still be there when the Knight of Swords gets back. Does that make sense? So you guys, when this communication comes, it could be something like, look, I gotta go do these things real quick. I gotta take care of this stuff. I'm coming right back. I'm gonna go around the block, okay? Are you still gonna be here? And the Knight of Pentacles is making the offer, because if you think about going in a circle, that Knight of Swords is going to come around in a circle, and they're going to be facing the Knight of Pentacles as equals. So the Knight of Pentacles is bringing the foundation and extending the foundation, something that's stable, like an anchor, like secure. The Knight of Swords is bringing the movement and the strategy. Okay, so he's bringing the muscle and the brains, and the Knight of Pentacles is bringing the cavalry, the backup. Like, you know those scenes like during like Lord of the Rings or something, where like there's a whole crew in an army that's just waiting at the top of the hill, you know, waiting for their turn to like fight. Like, do we even need them yet? You know, let the Knight of Swords be on the front lines here, and then the Knight of Pentacles is like, we just gonna wait. We just gonna wait to see if they even need us to do anything. Receptive. Okay, the Knight of Pentacles, they do get a lot of flack, but you can trust them with that pentacle in the upright, and you can trust the Knight of Swords with that sort of truth in the upright, because it will cut clean, and it will cut true, and it will cut to the heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter is you want to stay put. You know, if for no other reason than to get some good loving at the end of this. The Knight of Pentacles wants to make a solid offer. So the reason why I think the outcome here is the Nine of Wands in reverse is because I don't think that ninth wand has been planted yet, so it can be upright. This is a dialogue, okay, with the Eight of Wands going towards, from the soulmate side to your side. This is an initiation of a conversation that might play out over the course of September, while the heavens wrap up their cosmic dance. Okay, I am a little concerned that they are facing opposite directions, but not really, because again, this is a soulmates and separation reading. It's like they both have different tasks, and they both have different abilities, and they both move at different speeds. You might have been the Knight of Swords at one point, and now and they were the Knight of Pentacles, like not really moving. And now, so they're more active at this point, and you're like, well, I've done the work. Let me just wait. Okay. So, what they're bringing to the partnership on the left side is the Nine of Cups. Look at that. Look, you guys, look. So remember when I said, you know, stay right there. I'll be right back. It's because they went to go put their sword up to go get a cup. If that's not the sweetest shit I've ever seen in my life, I swear to God, that is the sweetest shit I've ever seen. So they're coming with the ushy-gushy offer, right? It's like, that's what they're coming with, the chalice. They're coming with the Holy Grail. They're Lancelot. They're Romeo. You know, like they're coming with that Knight of Cups. Like, and it's a nice balance between this air and earth energy. It's more sedate. It's more measured. There is motion, but it's not jumping to conclusions. You know, so in their head, they could be like, okay, well, I'm going to have to do something. But what they show you is the Knight of Cups, which may make you more amenable to talk. And it may make you want to fast forward to the sexy part. I can't get over the fact that, like, the devil showed up. Okay, what are you bringing to the partnership? Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Now, listen, guys. Okay, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Because this is a 1 year. You are planting. You're planting. You're not done planting yet. Eight of Pentacles in reverse is someone who's not really willing to budge, or something's not working. You know, they're just looking at the brass tacks of things and seeing how it's not measuring up. If this person is coming to you this week, or within the next month, within September, whenever you guys listen to this, that's when it is for you. If they are coming to you with these areas of love in their own way, and they're expressing themselves the best way they know how, and they come with this cup of love, and you look back at them and you say, well, I don't see how this is going to work. That's why the outcome is the Knight of Wands. Now, if this has been something in the past where, you know, again, the knights are messengers and they're not kings yet, where you're like, okay, yeah, I've heard this before. There's something different. There's something that's going to be different about the communication this time that you can trust. So don't show them the side of you that's all facts and figures. And remember, this is an energetic snapshot, so forewarned is forearmed. This isn't working, I just can't, I don't know, I'm really just, you know. The reason why, because remember, if it's a soulmate partnership, they can feel you thinking about wanting to leave. Because you've had enough. That's why they're picking up on this energy now. Is it forcing some of them, is it forcing their hand and they gotta move and they gotta say something? Yeah. But once they come, and they open up a conversation, they're willing and they're open, don't come back to them with this energy of Eight of Pentacles in reverse, guy, because all you're doing is confirming their fears that they've invested stupidly into something that isn't going to manifest. Like, is that what you want? Like, for real? Okay. All right. So what's the cosmic message to the far right? Eight of Cups in reverse. So now we have 3 eights. Somebody's walking away from something. And with the cups, it's like, okay, they're walking away. The Eight of Cups in reverse. They're walking towards their wish. The 9th cup to go find their wish. But they don't know where to start. But they're trying. They're walking. Okay, so that's the cosmic message. So I think that's encouragement for you guys on your behalf to let you know that they are trying. Because remember, we have the Eight of Wands up there, and you're bringing the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. But the divine or cosmic message is the Eight of Cups in reverse. Like, they want to come find that wish come true, that 9th cup. They're trying to find their way. I feel like there's going to be some communication for you guys. What do I want to do? Okay, so I'm going to pull a Chakra Wisdom Oracle card to see what you guys could use in terms of your major power centers and support moving forward, your time of separation. This is very much like the last soulmate reading that I did, Soulmates and Separation. It was like, don't be so hard on them. Because some of you guys could be more like further along in terms of understanding what this partnership is. And if they're just now coming into this understanding, you wouldn't want anybody to rush you. Quest. Which is the throat chakra. This is about speaking up for what you want in a partnership. Right? This is about communicating with not just other people, but with what we don't know yet, and being, again, receptive and open, interrogative, not declarative. Come from a pliant space, which is the space where truth can be revealed. So this is bravery on everybody's side. You know, are you ready to hear? Are you ready to hear what they have to say? You know, and are they ready to face the truth that this is something that they can't walk away from, and they would rather walk towards you than away, because the Knight of Swords is running away, Knight of Cups is running towards you. Okay, I have a Wisdom of the Oracle card for you by Colette Baron Reed. It's number 23. I'm still learning these cards. Freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. So what you want with them is exactly what's keeping you in bondage. So, and I'm not talking now about the physiological draw. I'm talking about the chemistry. I'm talking about the obsessive thing that we talked about earlier. The obsessing that they haven't contacted you yet. it's like at this point, nothing they could say would work for you because you're in a place where you want something from them that they can't really give because they don't know their own way yet with this Eight of Cups in reverse. They're walking. You keep walking in a straight line, you get to where you're going, or you'll end up back where you started, right? But like they're walking, they're showing initiative. There's a lot of blue and yellow here. There's a lot of throat chakra and a lot of solar plexus. There's a lot of action going on here too, in spurts. Um, and then your action center with this Knight of Pentacles is all about sitting still. That's your recommendation. Okay? So this is quieting your mind. It's freeing yourself from wanting this so much to the point where it's keeping you chained to a certain way of doing things. Have you ever thought that they might have a plan that might actually be better than yours? So like attaching yourself to like, well, in order for us to be happy and for order for us to go together and be together forever and ever and ever, like it has to be this way on my terms. Well, that's not exactly a partnership, right? So we're talking about alignment, but not being yoked or chained together. They're in tune. They're playing the same song. It's here, but your energy by dictating the terms, right, with this Devil, what you want from them, is you want the same kind of obsessive nature that you are currently under right now. But you see, the partnership is free from that, the lovers. So I just think this is a period right now where the obsession is kind of getting the best of you. And it's okay to be the Knight of Pentacles. But the thing is with the Knight of Pentacles, when there's no movement, he has a lot of time to think by himself. So acceptance of whatever they say is going to be your task this week. Okay? And facing what they have to say, if there's a truth there, you can't be talking through them and you can't be telling them what's not working and you can't see this work because, they live over there and you live over here, or, you spend this much and they spend that much. Like, that's not what you want to come with. Okay. When they send those arrows to you, you send them right back. Even if you have to sit still for a little bit. Don't make the nightmares up in your mind. Okay? It's okay to say, I thought we could have gone this way with it and things would have sped along. But I do feel like a lot of you, there's still a lot of growth. You're seeing the potential for the growth in the lovers, which is why you're being tempted by the Devil. And the funny thing is I'm teaching Paradise Lost right now. I'm teaching Milton in this one class, and it is all about wanting more than your fair share, being tempted. So you're seeing the potential, but you're being tempted by sort of an extreme version of that. Okay, they're not even really seeing the potential yet. You see the potential. They're seeing that they want to be part of something with you, with the star here in reverse. They want to join you in that Eden that you're creating. Okay, that's what they want from you. So it's going to be your job to demonstrate to them what that looks like, as opposed to the opposite of that, which is discord. All right, guys. Okay, I hope you found this useful. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up at northnodtarot@gmail.com. Take care.